Hello everyone. Today we are going to be doing the chapter 1 for computer science of grade 11 CBSE, which is computer systems. What is a computer system? A computer system is basically a computer along with additional hardware and software together. There are three components to a computer system. First being CPU, also called the central processing unit, the input device and the output device. The CPU is a processor. It can be placed on one or more microchips and is given instructions through a program. It fetches the data through the memory and performs arithmetic and logic operations, then stores back to memory. Registers are part of the CPU and are limited in size and number, which is used to store data and instructions or intermediate results. The arithmetic logic unit performs all the arithmetic and logic operations that need to be done as per the instructions. The control unit controls the sequential instruction execution, interprets instruction, and also guides data flow. The input device is the device which sends control signals to the computer. These are converted to a digital form which is accepted by the computer. Data is temporarily stored in the main memory, called RAM, random access memory. For permanent storage and future use, the data is stored in secondary memory. For example, keyboard and mouse. Output devices are those devices which receive the data from a computer system for display, physical production, etc. Some of the examples include printer, speaker. This is a chart from NCRT which shows the diagram. As you can see, first we go from the input device to the primary memory, which can then go to the CU, then to ALU, and vice versa, which finally gives us the output device. Next, we have the computer memory. So there are two types of memory under primary memory, RAM and ROM. RAM stands for random access memory and ROM stands for read-only memory. We also have cache and secondary memory. The units of data storage are bit, which is the smallest unit, which is binary, either 0 or 1. Nibble is basically 4 bits and byte 8 bits. Then kilobytes is 2 raised to the power 10 bytes, which is 1024, and MB 2 to the power 20, Giga 2 to the power 30, Tera 2 to the power 40. The primary memory loads programs and data before processing. The types include random access memory and read-only memory. The random access memory is volatile, meaning it retains the memory only as long as power supply is there. Hence, it is temporary, and where the power supply is gone, the memory is not there anymore. Whereas ROM is non-volatile, it is small and faster for permanent storage. The contents are also rarely changed. The cache memory. Because RAM is slower than CPU, cache is a high-speed memory placed in between both of them. It stores the copies of data from frequently accessed locations, hence reducing the time to retrieve the data. Next is secondary memory. It is permanent. It has a large storage capacity. It is slower and cheaper than the main memory. Some of the examples which we use in our daily lives are hard disk, CD, and SSD, which are placed in cameras. The data transfer between memory and CPU. There are three kinds of buses for this purpose: data bus, address bus, and control bus. The data bus transfers data between different components and is also bidirectional, whereas the address bus transfers addresses of data between CPU and main memory, but it is unidirectional. And control bus, it communicates control signals between the components. It is also unidirectional. It is important to note that the data bus is bidirectional, whereas the other two are unidirectional. Microprocessors. They are small-sized electronic components which carry out various tasks. They are built over IC, also called the integrated circuit. Some of the specifications of microprocessors are the word size, memory size, clock speed, and core. The word size is the maximum number of bits a microprocessor can process. It can be 64, 32 depending on various computers. The memory size is the amount of RAM in the microprocessor. The clock speed is the number of pulses per second generated by the clock inside the computer. The cores are the basic computational unit, like multi-core. The microcontroller is a small computing device which has a fixed amount of RAM, ROM, and other peripherals on a single chip, unlike CPU, which only has the microprocessor. Examples include mouse, washing machine. Like even in the washing machine, when the example of washing machine is valid as it has a fixed amount of RAM and ROM. So whenever we are pressing a button, it does some instruction. That is only possible if it has some preloaded instruction before. And this helps automate simple tasks. Data in information. The computer considers everything as a data. Raw and unorganized facts which can be processed for meaningful information is information. There are three types of data: structured, unstructured, and semi structured. Structured is easy to comprehend and is organized in the form of a table with rows and columns, as you can see in the form of a table below, showing the roll number, name, month, and attendance. Next is unstructured, which is not organized in a predefined record format, whereas semi-structured does not have well-defined structure, but it has internal markings to separate the data elements, including CSV file and HTML page. Next is data capturing, storage, and retrieval. Data capturing is gathering the data from different sources in digital format, like a barcode reader which gathers data. Second is storing of the data for further use, like a server, computers with large and fast storage. Third is data retrieval, which fetches data from the storage devices to use. It helps minimize access time and is crucial for faster processing. Fourth is data deletion and recovery. Storage can malfunction or crash, and users can accidentally erase data. Also, we note that in today's world, hackers can delete data. So for that, what happens is that recovery of the data is used using different softwares, and it is possible if the contents of the memory have not been overwritten. The components of a computer system, which we cannot touch or see physically, comprises of instructions and data to be processed using the computer hardware. This is called a software. It provides a link between the user. The types include the operating system, system utilities, and device driver. An operating system is the basic system software without which other softwares cannot work. Manages other application programs and also provides access and security to the users of the system. This includes the bootloader whenever we start our laptops. Next is system utilities. It is used for maintenance and configuration. Examples include disk defragmentation tool, which helps arrange the memories. If there is not a free memory, it helps arrange the memory so that it could be placed between them. Third is the device driver, which ensures the proper working of devices and also controls the functioning of a particular device. It acts as an interface between the device and the operating system. Next are programming tools. So there are two types of languages. One is the low level language and second is a high level language. The low level language is machine dependent, meaning it depends upon the machine and is binary in terms of using only zeros and ones. And whereas high level language, some of the examples include Java, Python, C++, etc., which is machine independent. It is simpler and it has a set of rules which is similar to natural languages. And instructions are written using English-like sentences, making it easier for us humans to comprehend. A language translator is assembly, which is a high-level language, and assembler converts assembly language to machine language, whereas a compiler converts the source code into the machine code, and the interpreter translates the code line by line, whereas the compiler compiles the entire code and then runs it together. We have program development tools, text editors, and IDE, also called integrated development tool. The types of software include application, which is general purpose and customized. General purpose, as the name suggests, is made for the general audience, like LibreOffice and the browser. And customized are websites, which are for specific requirements of the user. There is also proprietary or free and open source software, also called FOSS. Examples include Python and Ubuntu. The freeware is free software without the source code, while a proprietary software is a paid software like Windows. The operating system manages all the resources of the computer. It controls the application software and device drivers. It provides services for building and running applications and provides the user with an interface with the computer. The interfaces could be of various kinds. These include command-based, GUI, touch-based, voice-based. Command-based requires the user to enter specific commands like MS-DOS and Unix, only one program at a time. GUI uses icons, menus, and other visual options. Input devices like keyboard and mouse use them. For example, Windows. Touch-based is using the touchscreen, such as our smartphones and tablets, while the voice-based especially helps the disabled users and communicates without being physically present, like Cortana and Siri, while the gesture-based software interface allows users to interact with gestures like waving and tilting. We are aware of this, which are used in our consoles such as Xbox and PS. Operating systems. Some of the functions of operating system are process management, memory management, file management, and device management. The process management is the process in the task in action. It helps allocate usage and exchange of information among processes. The memory management is managing the memory used by running processes, and it manages without interrupting these processes. It is efficient and also helps in multitasking. It occupies or is utilized by a large number of processes, which keeps track of every location within the memory as free or occupied. File management is the creation, updation, and deletion and protection of files in secondary memory. It prevents different users from accessing other users' data. And fourth is device management. The OS manages various devices through device drivers. Operating system manages the heterogeneous devices which are interdependent. That is it for today's lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments below.